Welcome to the Help Me Rhonda Show. We have a very exciting show today. You know, this is where we interview and talk to sexy brands that are leaving an impact and leaving a legacy on the world. And today's guest is a very special one. I am bringing on today the unstoppable surfer, Brian Swan himself. Have we ever had a conversation or an interview before?
I think we've had one or two over the years. It's 21 years.
Yes. All right. So, by the way, if you guys didn't notice, this is my husband, Brian, but he's also known the brand, the Unstoppable Surfer. And of course, we are the Unstoppable family. If you've noticed on the show, we talk so much about building brands. Well, the Unstoppable family brand was our first big brand that we launched. And then, of course, it started to grow from there. The Unstoppable Surfer was born, Hanalei Swan, Unstoppable Mama, my shows, all of that great stuff. And I wanted to bring you on today because, you know, I talk so often about and with brands that are leaving an impact and what it really truly means. Now, you're the Unstoppable Surfer, okay? So let's talk about how that started. Like, why are you considered the Unstoppable Surfer and how surfing is so related to creating a successful life, a successful relationship, really success in every single thing that you do in business and in the world. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, thank you very much, Rhonda, for having me on the Help Me Rhonda Show. I feel very fortunate. Okay, so how the Unstoppable Surfer started. The Unstoppable family, we started it like 10 years ago when we were in Bali for the first time.
Yeah.
And then from there, we were realizing, you know, our brands and like, who am I of the Unstoppable family? And that's where the Unstoppable Surfer came about, because my passion was surfing. It's something that when you wake me up in the morning, I don't have to think about it. This is something that I'm going to do, either go surfing, going jogging on the beach, but that's part of my life. I live and breathe it. And we met surfing 21 years ago.
21 long years ago that we met surfing in the water in San Diego, and we've been together ever since. Now, many people, this is not just about surfing. It's actually about how you relate everything into life. So, you know, meeting surfing, I understood that when the weather changed, the surf was up, we just dropped everything for that. And if there are many surfer guys out here, a lot of times it's difficult because your spouse or your relationship, they don't really understand what it truly means to be so dedicated to something. Right? So when you and I met, we were surfers, but surfing was more of a hobby for us. It was like an exercise for us. But since then, has definitely changed into becoming more of really who you are at the core. I remember watching, you know, we would watch surf videos of like Laird Hamilton, high-level professional surfer, big wave surfer, Jerry Lopez, who's kind of, what is he considered, the godfather? And
he's like the godfather of surfing. Of
pipeline, of surfing. And Jerry Lopez said, surfing is life. And there's a documentary that he was in about the truth of surfing and really what happened. So let's talk about that. Like, why is surfing so related to life for you?
Okay. Well, should we go into the surf method? Maybe if we have a framework on that, we could start off with the surf method, and then we could go through each particular layer and how I break it down, and not only with myself, but then also with you.
Yeah.
Shall we do that? So just let's look at the surf and make it easy here. The S stands for start your day with success, right? And one of the big...
So let's just stop here, because there's a method that we as a family kind of taken on as our philosophy, and it came down to surf because Brian is a surfer. Our family understands surfing. And so we put together this method so that we all just stay on track. It's called SURF, S-U-R-F. The S is set yourself up for success. The U is uncover fears. What are the fears, or uncover what's holding you back actually? Is it fear? Is it food? Is it choices? Is it rituals? Right? And the R is revenue generating activity every day. F is fun and family connection. So that's kind of the framework of what we as the Unstoppable family have set ourselves up for. So I guess let's break down then each and every one of these letters so that we can kind of, I guess, relate it to your stories.
Yeah. Now, and this is the biggest one is the the S, starting off your day with success, right? Morning rituals. And this is something that I have figured out. If I do this every single day, I'm going to be putting myself on the right foot, right? And one of those things is I don't turn on my notifications. I'm not looking at things that are going to start my day. I knew I need to start off with my passion.
So you don't open up your phone at all in the morning until what time?
Typically about 8, 9 o'clock, but
Now
I'm usually up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so we get up early. You take like that first 3 hours of ritual time, right? So you set your day up for success through rituals.
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of rituals do you have?
So we live in Bali. We've been traveling for 12 years now. Every single place we lived in is surf. So I'm either going out surfing, and if the surf is not good, I'm going out for a run, going out to do yoga on the beach, something to get my body moving, because the only way that you can get your brain moving is if you get your body moving first. And so that's one of the biggest things. And I don't have to think about it. It's like, it's one of those, if you were to just open up your email or looking at the notifications, that's going to dictate the rest of your day, because then you're putting out other fires or somebody else's agenda. And if you take control of your own agenda at first, then you're like, okay, once this is like checked off, I'm getting my exercise, I'm getting my podcasts in, I'm doing a video to actually.
So the S could really become, the S is like not only set yourself up for success, but it's also selfish. What do you want selfishly? And this is something that we talk often in our family about, being selfish. Now, most people in business might go, oh, well, you're selfish. It's a negative thing. It's actually one of the most vital pieces that you can implement into your life is being selfish. And what you just said is about being not only setting yourself up for success, but being selfish in your morning so that you are prepared mentally. So you're listening to podcasts, you're doing exercise, you're going, and there's certain rituals that you do every single day that sets you up for success. Talk more about some of the rituals that you do every day.
Oh, this is one of my favorite ones because it has to do with you. Well, there was a book, The Compound Effect, I believe. It was 3.5 years ago. That one of the things while I'm going to go surfing and getting my exercise going, one of the things also is we got the family, the relationship between us. And it was the book called The Compound Effect, I think by Dan Hardy or something to that. It's like, I believe that is what it is. But there was a chapter in there, and this made a huge, huge impact with me, impact with yourself, is that there was a ritual where he wrote a little message to his wife for a year, and then he gave it to her at Thanksgiving, and she's like, this was the most unbelievable gift ever. And I'm like, well, what if I just did this every single day? And having it part of my daily ritual to where I'm not only giving the love back to you, but then it's also, I'm writing it for me. And I'm also, one of the things, I get to surf more if I give you flowers, and so if you can see from the photo here, I write a message, but then also have the flowers, and that's just part of my daily ritual.
Yeah, so every single day I get up and I get this amazing note. And it's got beautiful frangipani flowers next to it. It's really part of Brian's day that he writes to me. And I read it every day, but I don't always respond. And lately I just said I'm going to start implementing where I put a little heart on that date that says, I saw this. Because it matters. It has mattered so much. We've done this for 3 years now, where I've got books. We've got books and books that we're going to be able to save for the end of our life, right? And in our relationship to remind us really how much we care. And it matters so much because that sets you mentally up for success. I wake up in the morning, I come out, I'm like, oh, you've gotten flowers because you've served, you've written a little letter, and it really just truly makes such a massive difference in our day, in our relationship.
And it only takes a few minutes.
Yeah.
Not only did I start doing that with you, then I started doing that with Hanalei, and I started doing that with some coworkers and people, just taking that little extra time.
Well, it's if you think about it too, it's also like something that Hanalei can see what she should expect out of a husband or out of a man and how she should be treated.
Absolutely.
I think that's something with our family is so endearing. It's like we're so close that way.
Yeah. It's funny because we just did with this visa run to Singapore, and Hanalei he goes, Dad, will you take my bag? Will you help me out? And I took your bag. I'm like, no, it's like, I have to respect you are my wife. And she's like, huh. I'm like, next time you might want to pack a little bit better. But it's those little things to where they get to watch. And if it's all, it's like how I treat you is, that's the way that she's growing up to be.
Yeah, I think that's such a big thing. I love that. All right, so we're on S. Let's go to U, which is uncover what's holding you back.
And you got a good one with this on what you do every single morning, looking yourself in the mirror and the little mantra that you do. Let's hear it from you first. Let's do it.
I'm being interviewed now, I guess.
Yeah.
Uncover what's actually holding you back. For me, it's a big one because every single day, we can get held back from something, right? Like it's a fear. And what am I afraid of today? Like here I host this show and things might go wrong, or I may not be prepared, or I'm nervous about the person that's coming in to interview. It's like, what's holding you back? Identify it, right? Mm-hmm. And it could be the choices that you make at night. Like, how did you, what's holding you back today? Like, is it, I'm not been eating right, or my rituals aren't set in stone. So every morning I get up and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, you're amazing. You're incredible. You change people's lives. You are an unstoppable force to be reckoned with. Like, I really give myself these positive affirmations every single day because it's all about the things that we say inside of our head, and I remember, like, there's this, we call it monkey chatter. Like, you could be having this monkey on your shoulder, right? That is when you're saying something to yourself, I don't really believe in it. And if you think about it, like, especially in business and success, if you're trying to say, yes, I'm going to have these great goals, I'm going to start my year off awesome, but inside, subconsciously, you're like, nah, I don't really believe it. You don't deserve it. Well, that monkey on your shoulder is the one that subconsciously is listening. It's a vibration. Your body is listening to yourself. So that's why the you part is so vital about really uncovering what is the things that could hold you back today.
Yeah. And another one on top of that is our food, right? Like that is such a major one. And almost 4 years ago, I started doing intermittent fasting. I started realizing how my body can react throughout the day. And I just remember when there was a couple different things that we were doing to where, like, I was so anxious to eat, but then your body was fatigued. I'm like, all right, now I do this. I know how my body's going to feel throughout the day. And now I don't eat till it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But like now it's like, I don't have to think about it. This is, it's like, this is set in stone, just like my daily ritual, to where now I know how I'm going to feel and my energy level to produce.
Yeah, so intermittent fasting is a really big one, is uncovering what you can uncover so much when you actually minimize the things that you're doing on a daily basis and the type of food. And like, we don't eat until like 1 o'clock. We intermittent fast, we know exactly when to eat, because that also supports what we want to do in our day and how we're productive. All right, so the third one is revenue producing activity. That's the R of SURF. And that is setting up certain times of your day where you are focusing on business. Because if you're not focused, there's so many different things that go on. And like we talk often, like I can multitask, but I have to focus. And if I take 4 hours of golden time every single day, I can get done more in 4 hours than most people can do in a whole full day.
Yeah. I'm going to steal one from you if you don't mind, honey. The structure gives you freedom. She's so right on this, and we've had this talk, so many times, and it's one of those things to where you just start getting busy, and you're working, but are you being productive? And you are like adamant. In Hanalei, you have it ingrained in Hanalei's brain. Structure gives you freedom, and I tell you, when I start to plan, it's like, wow, you can accomplish so much more when you have that structure, when you know this is what I need to do between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
Yeah, the structure is such a big one, especially for revenue generating activities, right? You've got to know, what do I need to do to produce money in my business? And so many people, they just do so many different things. And all of a sudden it's like, how am I making a sale? How am I closing deals? Like if I don't have that set in my day, and then you're wondering why your business isn't successful, it's got to be revenue producing. It's not about generating content. It's not about writing blog posts. It's not about, filming video. It's about revenue generating activity. Like, am I, speaking to clients? Am I closing deals?
Right.
Am I reaching out to certain people? Is my marketing set up so it's revenue generating? Right. So that's some of the most important pieces.
Because if you don't have people going through your pipeline, right, from generating the leads and You have to do the content. You have to. These are things that you have to do. But if you're not doing like I like it. I was a robotics engineer, right, for 10 years, but I was a technical salesperson, and if I wasn't reconnecting, following up, what I learned way back in the day in the sales method was the fortune is in the follow-up. And I think that's where so many people really drop the ball on being able to do that follow-up. And that follow-up is so key.
Well, that's why it's called Fortunes in the Follow-Up. I mean, seriously, like, it doesn't even matter like what type of shows we do. Yeah, some people watch things live. 99% of people are watching it and the replay. It's about, are you emailing your list? Is your system set up properly that creates follow-up? Do you have a sales funnel? You're running art marketing campaigns and they're running to this order form, but they disappear. If they don't have a cart abandonment email and a structure to follow through with those people or retargeting campaigns, then you're literally wasting about 90% of your activity, because the first 10% is just what they see. If you don't have a follow-up in place, you're blowing it. So that's why the R part is revenue generating activities and how your structures are set up. That's why we're so big about making sure our structures are set up so that we can follow through. All right, last one is F. And then I want to get into a couple stories because we jumped into the structure stuff first, but I really want to get into stories about mindset about surfing. But F is family and fun, like making sure that you're set up for that. Like, what is the things that you do to create family and fun?
Well, around like 5, 6 o'clock, we love our sunsets, love to have a little wine and be able to really connect. And and we even have that's a hard time with us. And sometimes we're like, you're just in busy mode and you want to stay there.
Yeah, it's a good reminder.
But if we don't take that time to be able to share it as a family, it's like you can have all your pillars, but like that foundation of your family, this is a huge thing. And a lot of people they'll let that go. And to us, that is a foundation that we have together. And we like to get together for sunset, have a little vino, get to play games with Hanalei.
It's a big one for her, especially with Hanalei, being the space that she's in. She's at 8 years old, she had a company. She's been speaking on stages in front of huge entrepreneurs, right? So sometimes you can lose a little bit of that fun because you get busy and we start running her life like it's a busy life, whereas she just wants to play. And so being able to ask ourselves every day, have you surfed today? Well, normally that old conversation would be like, oh, have you surfed? Has he literally gone out and gone into the water? But now it's like, have we surfed today?
Right.
Have we set ourselves for success? Have we uncovered the things that are holding us back? Are we generating revenue, income producing activities each day? And are we having fun? And are we with our family every day? That's really simple stuff.
And it's a checklist. You can go at the end of the day, did I accomplish SURF? And it's a checklist. And if you haven't, you're wondering why things aren't working, probably because you haven't checked off everything off the list.
Yeah, exactly. So now we got the framework, and I want to switch into a bit more depth.
All right.
You're a really deep person, and most people don't really hear or understand. We say, oh, he's the unstoppable surfer. And if you haven't watched or connect with Brian's Instagram account, go to Unstoppable Surfer on Instagram, because you'll really get to see about what it is, the type of surf that you actually do. It's not just a hobby anymore. No. So going back to my first statement early on the show about Jerry Lopez said, surfing is life.
Yeah.
Internalize that for us. Tell me what that means to you. Not just I have to go out because it makes me more complete, but like when you surf, what goes on in the water for 90 minutes?
Yeah. And you
bring us into that world.
I will. And what's crazy for me is I actually don't have to physically do the action every single day, but me just being there in the presence of Mother Nature, and if I'm not doing it, I can be watching it, be exercising. But for me, that's where I'm in my happy zone. And I can relate so many things. Let me share a story to where surfing is life, and it's crazy. And you remember this, you might have, let's do the photo with the gash and stuff. Surfing is life.
So hold on. There's a photo that he's showing you where he got his head cut off, right? He got his head literally cut open. And when you look at that, you're like, oh, there's so many injuries and dangers that happen when you surf. Well, that injury actually happened because of an outcome, because of a decision that you made. And we can relate the choices you make in surfing to the choices we make in life, that they can actually be detrimental, right? Surf is a little more different, right? You're underwater. You're dealing with elements.
Right.
So what happened? Why did that picture look scary and gory? But there was a lot more to it. Like, what was going in your mind that what caused that outcome of that injury?
And this happens so many times. It's the hesitation, pulling back, not committing 100%. It's so relatable to, even a relationship with us, with what we do in business, where you're going and then you pull back. And if you see, there's another photo of me riding a big wave from 2009, 10 years ago in Bali. It's still like up there with one of my biggest waves. But at that, when you commit, when it's 20 foot plus, there's no pulling back, because that little hesitation will get you flying over, and then you get
injured.
You get injured, and with the thing in in surfing, there's not just the injuries, but death. And it's like you have to...
It's a real outcome.
Oh, absolutely. And, like the waves that I'm surfing anymore, like now, those are like, if you make some wrong moves, death can be... But it's part of the business too, right?
Exactly.
It's like
you can lose everything. It's so relatable. Like, you're either going to choose to tiptoe around, or you're going to choose to go for it and go all in. But knowing at the end, there's a risk in everything that we do, right? We either go all in. Yeah, we might lose our money. We've done that before. We invested everything. We lost it all. But guess what? We became bigger and better people.
It was a learning lesson.
On surfing, the outcomes are a little different, right? Mm. So what goes in your mind at that point? So there's a picture of you at the very top of this wave, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to make a choice at that moment. Yeah. You have to just go for it, because if you don't go for it, what happens? You're pitched. They call it pitching in surfing. You're pitched, and you literally are getting crushed by this wave. Yeah. So at that moment, like, what goes through your mind in that moment?
In those moments now, I know what to do. It's a preparation. You don't know exactly because when we were learning to surf together, we just kept on going bigger and bigger, and it's just like, it's trial and error, right? You're going to fail so many times, and then once you go bigger, you're starting to play with the bigger boys and starting getting some advice, and then it's like you have to drop your head, you don't look back, and you just go, and you have to trust the process. And I think that's so many times, it's like, you do a lot of coaching for high-end clients, right? And one of the things is, everybody wants to do it their own way, but they have to trust the process. Trust, just like for me, now it's like, I know what to do. And it's like, you have to commit, you have to go. And
yeah, I mean, and we use this statement a lot, is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So there's pillars in life that you have to, relate on and rely on. And if you choose in this one area of life that you're only going to go halfway or pull back every time, that's how you're going to do it all. Mm-hmm. So it's like going for it. This whole idea of being a business owner and, unstoppable surfer, unstoppable mama. It's like we go for it, unstoppable family, because we know the outcome could be, what's the worst thing that could happen? Yeah, you can die, but you can also die walking across the street.
Right.
So bring us into, what is the scariest moment that's ever happened to you while you've been surfing? And I want everyone to listen to this, because I want you to think, wow, is my business, or when I'm building my brand or doing things in my life, if it's ever gotten this scary or this bad?
Yeah. This goes back to 2010 in Fiji. And I'll paint the picture. It's a surf break that's 20 kilometers off the shore. And we get a boat ride out there, and there was a handful of people out there, and then just me and this one guy. And it was
How big was it that day?
It was 20 foot plus. It maxes out at 20 foot on the face.
Okay, so it's 20 feet high. That means the wave itself.
So if
you're at the top.
All right.
It's like you're standing on a two-story building,
so if we flip
leaning over.
If we flip back to that picture, essentially that's what it looked like that day. But that was from Uluwatu. This was in Fiji. And it was interesting because the guy that I was with, he was out there the most amount of times ever. And then this other guy goes, it's pretty unruly today. In my mind, I was fearless. But one of the things is that I was fearless, but I also didn't take all the precautions, and like I was preparations. Like wasn't doing breath work at the time. I was starting to do yoga to get flexibility, but there's things where I was really unprepared for this moment. And what it's called is a 2-wave hold down. And so we had this cleanup set, what they call us, where it doesn't break anymore. It's 20 foot. And you're like, the only thing that you can do is you have to like scratch to go as far as down as you can. And then let the wave take you.
Hold on.
Yeah.
When you talk in surfer talk, not everyone understands this. Right? Scratch down. Like you're
Here's
underwater. Okay.
Right.
Let's get this straight. I'm at the top of a wave. It's 2 stories high.
3 stories.
3
Oh, no, 2
stories
stories.
high.
Yeah,
2
yeah.
stories high. 20 feet. And you got a paddle. And you're like, you can't go. Oh, shit. I don't want to go anymore. And pull myself back. No, because this is called Mother Nature. And she said,
Yeah.
right? So you've got to go.
Yeah.
And then you get thrown and you're underwater. Now, it's not just I'm floating underwater. I now have this wave under me and this pressure. I'm underwater and you're getting thrown everywhere. We call it the rag doll. You're trying to go as deep as you can to get to the bottom because the pressure of the wave is here. You're trying to get here where it's not moving anymore.
But when it's that big,
So,
it's still...
what goes through your mind when you are in the wash? The pressure that's on your chest for breathing.
Mm-hmm.
What is going through your mind at this point?
Well,
Panic? How do you deal with
one
this?
of the things you have to prepare yourself, and it's such a weird thing when the advice I get is you have to let go.
Yeah, it's all so completely related. And, if you think about these type of situations, near-death experiences in things like surfing, like, wow, you start to respect what goes on. You respect Mother Nature. You start to respect and love your family more.
Yeah.
That's why so many people go through traumas in their life, and then they're like, whoa, I love you guys, or they become different people.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that how surf is so relatable to everything we do in life and how we handle it. And, it's become part of what our philosophy is of our whole family. So we ask ourselves every day, did you surf each and every single day?
Yep.
And are you doing the things that are going to help you be set up for complete success in life? And it's really simple, and I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons that everyone can really learn is how to look at what's going on in your life right now, especially going into 2020. What can I do right now every day to check off my list that says I'm doing what I need to do, and that builds the brand. The Unstoppable Surfer, you're now a value, you're a feeling. You don't even have a logo. It's not about logo for me. Building a brand has nothing to do with a logo. It's what you are inside and the value that you give and the lessons that you learn and the promises that you keep to the audiences and the people that love your brand. I mean, I love this. You had a guy come up the other day and was like, man, you just make such a difference because you share so much from your heart of what it really means and what you believe in and why surf is so important to your day.
Yeah. No, it's a rewarding thing. Like when we get emails or messages, like you changed my life. And you never know who's actually like watching or listening. Like right now, you may be watching this for the first time and like, or you may be sitting and just watching. But I believe, like, we had this long talk. It was New Year's Day, 2020. And we sat in the pool. It was a day of nothing yesterday. These days of nothing that we do are really like some of the most...
Days of everything.
Of everything.
We changed it. I think we said we're going to change it because we've called the day of nothing. It's like the day where you're like, we're not working at all. Like you literally get to do whatever you want as there's zero pressure or zero like responsibility, right? Mm-hmm. But the days of nothing turn into the days of everything because your mind relaxes. You're not focusing on what I need to get done for my family or for clients or for business. And all of a sudden, all the ideas come. So we're like, this is not the day of nothing. This is the day of everything. We're sipping on champagne. We're floating in the pool. Ideas are popping. Right. And the biggest and the best connections came.
And it wasn't us talking different marketing strategies or all these like we look at it as like what's the easiest tool or the tool to get me there, marketing or all this. And what it comes down to, if we don't have our foundation right of who we are as human beings, not only, it's like it's a relationship with what we have between us, relationship what we have with our daughter, and most importantly, the person you're looking to in the face. And if you're lying to yourself and like who you're being, I mean, I'm going through growth right now. It's like 45 years old. Been doing personal development. And when you think that you've arrived,
you're far from
you're
it.
far from it.
Yeah. And I think that's part of our family's growth has always been, always continue to invest in yourself, invest in your mind every single day, because you're either growing or you're dying, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be complacent, because the moment that you're complacent is the moment you're dying and everything starts to go rotten, right? That's why, fruits from the tree, they go rotten real fast. One bad thing, if you're not growing and thriving, you're rotting. Immediately rotting is the process.
Yeah. And that's something. And that's like way back when we got crushed in the 2007, 2008. We're getting complacent. We're getting like lazy. We're actually thinking everything we touched turned to gold. When in reality, it's like, no, we're learning, but we're not. I can say it personally. For myself, I was getting lazy. And right now, like there's certain things I'm like, I've been getting lazy. You get too comfortable where you're good. And having this conversation that I had with, everybody at Christmas, I'm like, I'm good. And everybody likes to pat you on the back. Like you're so good, but I'm not great. And I could be showing up much more. And there's a better version of me inside that I know if I do things a little differently, set that structure up, that I will be a better husband, father, businessman, and somebody like you're really proud to look in the mirror at.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
But you'll always be striving for great every time.
Yeah.
So what's next for the Unstoppable Surfer?
Well, I'm going to go on a surf trip around the world. I haven't told you this, but you're invited.
Oh, I'm invited.
Yeah, and we're going to have our Surfers Retreat. It's going to be coming up here in 2020. What is
the Surfers Retreat for, and who's it for? Who can look out for that if someone's watching, a wife or a guy that is interested?
I'd say a businessman loves their life, loves their wife, and wants to make an impact in the world. And it's not just a Surfers Retreat, let's go hang out. Because one of the biggest things is that if you're a businessman and your passion is surfing, you only have a certain amount of time that you can do it. And if you leave your spouse or your partner, and this could be guy, girl, either way, it's like, well, then you're doing that, and then it's like, no, this is for freaking people that are already they're successful already, but then it's like bringing the whole experience with your partner in.
With your family.
High-level conversations, but doing also what you love, that commonality. And like surfers, like we have a value, and even though when you broke your back, way back when, before Honolulu,
14 years ago,
tore your hamstring, broke your back, you are a surfer, right?
Yeah.
And you understand that. And we have, I don't know, you start holding certain values, and when you come together, it's like,
well, because surfing is a mindset.
Yeah.
It's a way that you look at life. It's the way you approach what you do every day. Surfing is a way and a community. It's a philosophy. And, we encompass our whole family into the surfing community. Hanalei understands to respect nature and to love, the ocean. But more importantly, she understands making decisions. You have to decide and go.
Absolutely.
It's not about deciding and hesitating, right? We just talked about that. And I think that's what I love the most. I'm excited more deeply about what's going to happen with the Unstoppable Families brand within Unstoppable Surfer, and what we do with our Unstoppable Branding Agency, like all together, bringing amazing humans. I love that. Businessmen that love their life, love their wife, and they love to surf and leave an impact in the world. Mm-hmm. These are bigger conversations than just I'm building a brand, right, and just I have a company or I have a product or service that I can sell. This is about how are you impacting the world and using it through your passions?
Absolutely. We had this discussion just yesterday. Like, I remember being a robotics engineer, and in today's society, that's a very I'm a robotics engineer, but I had no passion for it.
Yeah.
I was like leaving a legacy. You are the best robotics engineer. No, it's like, it's there's no heart. Now it's like, the things that we do, it's like we gotta have that love, that passion, and
surfing kind of brings it all out.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been an awesome show. I get to talk to this guy all the time, but I really wanted to bring you out here so that we can share it with the world more deeply, just on how we relate and the philosophies that we've got as the Unstoppable family, and how surf is so deeply ingrained into you and into your life and our family's life, because it relates to every single thing we do in life and in business. And you wrote out this perfect day
Yeah.
13 years ago, and now we're living it every single day because we're mindful of what that perfect day needs to look
You
like.
can see that picture. It's dated August 30th, 2006. It's almost 14 years ago.
And you wrote out what you wanted your perfect day to look like, and now every day you get to do it, and you're refining it.
And I got to share this with you, because this is, okay, I'm going to make some confessions here, all right? Rhonda, and I've had this discussion with many people, it's having, when you were, I have to go on this, honey, because it was actually back in Bali when we came here in 2003 for the first time. I had a corporate job, living the American dream, right? 6 figures, car, insurance. You were working in pharma, executive, like we're high end. And I remember you having this while we're on holidays, and we're in our 20s at this point, and you're like, there's more to life. There's something greater. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We got pretty easy jobs. And she goes, no, you're like, there's something bigger. And I'm like, man, this is pretty good at what we got. And it was from there to where you were like, you were seeking, and it was this like personal development. And I remember you sharing, listen to this or do this, and I bucked it. You can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. And this is what happened with me to you, is I saw you becoming a better person, right? This is like the same thing with kids. Like if you don't do something, like if you're not actually living it yourself, how are you supposed to tell your kids to go do something? You have to be that person. And I just remember you really digging into yourself, doing the personal development, and I got attracted to it because you were doing it, you were living it, and then you were also earning money, and I'm like, I'm sold, I'm in. And this exercise was the very first exercise that I ever did, that I wrote out what my perfect day, my ideal day would look like on a daily basis. And I was petrified of freaking trying to do it for like 6 months, because I was nervous on what you would think if you saw it, if a friend would see, what if I failed? But I tell you, when you actually take those steps, magic can happen. And I tell you, I'm living my perfect day, but it really didn't happen the way I thought it was going to do, or thought it was going to work out. It didn't actually happen, but it did happen when you keep on, pursuing it further.
Yeah, so I think it's really powerful. Well, it's been an amazing show. Hope you guys got so much value out of it. Please share this or tag someone or family that can really relate to this message, because I really truly believe the more we share our stories, the more the world can change through our experiences, through our failures, through the metaphors that we use, through taking our passions and turning it into a lesson and a metaphor. And for us, it's surf, right? And I appreciate you. I know you're my husband, but I appreciate you for your vulnerability, your authenticity, the love that you have for our family, and for always being open and being available and ready to want to be better and to be great. And to me, that's the ultimate, not only sexy relationship, but a sexy brand.
Oh, come here.
Oh, God. All right, guys. That was just way too far. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys with this. If you're going to create a brand, create a sexy brand. And if you're going to be anything, be unstoppable. Cheers, everyone. See you on the next show. Brand awareness is key in today's modern digital era. And with the rapid growth of social media platforms and the simplicity for all brands to compete on the same playing field, business owners have to start getting creative with how their brand message reaches their clients and customers. Hi, I'm Rhonda Swan, the CEO and founder of the Unstoppable Branding Agency and the Sexy Brand Building Formula programs, where we help our clients create a sexy brand through strategic brand marketing, image, and film. I believe every small business owner deserves to stand out in a sea of marketing messages and make their competition irrelevant with the right brand image, brand message, and strategy. If your brand and marketing is well thought out, but design and images look terrible, no one will take your business seriously. If your design is beautiful, but your marketing message isn't planned out so strategically, it will fall flat on its face. That's where our team comes in. We help our clients restructure their brand image with photo shoots and create a winning combination of strategic brand building through impeccable design and great storytelling through film. The world of business has changed. Because of social media, customers and clients are looking for transparency and connection. A business owner can no longer hide behind a website or rely on their services to attract the perfect client. They want realness, and they want to see the truth behind the brand. As you can tell, we do things differently. And if that excites you, I want to invite you to book a consultation or join us at our upcoming VIP branding retreat and let us help you turn your brand into a sexy, profit-making machine.